Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at this Vatrer 300 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. This thing has built-in Bluetooth. It's a self-heating battery, which is the first one on the channel that we've ever had. Now I pronounce this Vatrer, but it's actually Vatrer. Previously on the channel, we actually tested one of their 100 amp hour lithium iron phosphate batteries, and I really liked it a lot. In fact, it's installed in my golf cart right now, and it's been working flawlessly. So we have another Vatrer battery to review, except this one's a big 300 amp hour version. There's a lot of 300 amp hour batteries on the market. We've already reviewed 2 of them on the channel. So we're gonna dive into this one today. We're gonna fully charge it, do a capacity test, do a full current discharge test, and then we're gonna take this thing apart and see what's inside of it. I'm very excited to see the build quality of this battery. The outside of it looks very well made. And Vatrer has actually been around for a really long time. This is another one of those, I would say, legacy brands that's kind of been on the market for a really long time. And I think a lot of people have been using these very successfully in all kinds of different setups. They make a ton of different batteries, a ton of different capacities. So let's dive into this thing. Also with the battery, you do get your terminals and your covers. You get your user manual. Just gonna kind of go over some specs. They rate this maximum continuous discharge at 200 amps. We're definitely gonna test that. Gives you some more kind of relative information about the battery right here. Overall, it's a really good read. Just skim through this thing, even if you know what you're doing. I always suggest you guys look it over anyways, in case there's some information you might learn. And they also give you some stickers so you can pimp out, deck out whatever you're putting your battery in, maybe your RV or whatever. At the time of filming, this battery right now is selling on Amazon for $599, but they do have a $50 coupon going on right now. This is a little more than the previous 300 amp hour battery that we tested, but this does have self-heating and it does have Bluetooth. So that is a big step up as far as hardware goes. So you are gonna pay a little bit more for that. Let's see, grade A cells. Just trying to make sure I'm not leaving nothing out. They do offer a 5-year warranty as well. As far as dimensions go, the battery is 19.5 inches long, 10.5 inches wide, and about 8 3/4 inches tall. And it weighs 63 pounds. Here's just kind of a close-up of the battery. This thing looks really nice, and I would expect it to for the price, because this is not the cheapest battery in this category. So hopefully when you spend a little more money, you get a little bit better quality. Terminals look really nice, and they're also a little bit recessed. That's kind of nice. Negative terminal. Nice sturdy carrying handles, which you need for such a beast of a battery, in my opinion. There's what the backside looks like. Do not disassemble. We're definitely going to disassemble it. But in order to charge this beast, we're going to use my big 30 amp charger. That way this doesn't take forever. Because this also has Bluetooth, I'm gonna go ahead and download the app and see what that's all about. All right, we got the app downloaded. First thing I like is I did not have to create an account in order to use the app, because I don't like doing that. Switch the Bluetooth on, it automatically detected it. Success, okay. Now what, this? Oh, there we go. It says we're at 53%, that's perfect for storage. And we're charging with 30 amps almost. Gives you your highest voltage, your lowest voltage of each cell, and the voltage difference. So 0.008, 0.009, that's very good. How many cycles, that's really cool. Let's see if it'll actually show us individual cells. Look at that, it even tells you the temperature. And yes, it does actually tell you the cell voltage of each individual cell. So that's really nice if you're having to troubleshoot the battery if for some reason it's not working. So overall, the app's pretty nice. You get a lot of really good information, which I really love to see. That's it, we're gonna let this thing fully charge and we can start testing it. All right guys, we got our big monster Vatrer 300 amp hour 12 volt battery fully charged, as y'all can see by the app. Now we're gonna use our big SunGold low frequency 12 volt 3000 watt inverter to put a 0.2C load on the battery, which is going to be 60 amps. We have our volt amps watt kilowatt hour meter all zeroed out. We set this to 300 amp hours, and this will count the final amp hours that we get out of the battery. All right, we got 59 amps on the dot. Same with the app. The app is also showing 59 amps or 804 watt load. We're gonna let this until the battery's BMS shuts down or the inverter shuts down, whatever happens first, and we will see the results. I will see you guys in 5 hours. The battery capacity test is just completed, and we pulled a total of 312 amp hours, so this thing passed with flying colors. Really awesome test results. Now I'm gonna fully charge the battery so we can start our full amperage discharge test and see how many amps we can pull out of the battery before it shuts down, if it shuts down at all. We got the Vatrer battery fully recharged. Now we're gonna go ahead and do our max power discharge test. We have 2 1500 watt space heaters, as well as a heat gun connected to my SunGold Power 3000 watt low frequency inverter. So the most this setup can put on a battery as far as load is about 320 amps. This battery is rated at 200 amps continuous. We're gonna hit it with 200 amps, make sure it can at least sustain that. Then we're gonna go to 300 amps and see how long I'm gonna run at 300, if it'll shut off or not. We're gonna kick the inverter on. All right, first space heater on high, kind of warm things up a bit. There's one space heater, 125 amps, about 1600 watts. Space heater number 2. So I have the space heater number 2 on low. That's over 200 right there. I'm gonna kick it on high. All right, second space heater's on high. Oh, it just shut off. It actually works. If we check the phone app, overcurrent discharge protection kicked in. Holy crap. We actually have a battery with a working overcurrent discharge protection that worked. Trying to figure out how to reset it. Turn all the heaters off. All right, the battery just came back on. It took about 10 seconds for the overcurrent discharge protection to reset. I'm gonna turn the heaters back on, but we're not gonna hit it as hard this time. I wanna see at what current it actually kicks on. That's 215 amps, 213 amps. Let's see if it'll kick on at that. Turn a 300 watt heat gun on. Oh, there it went. I'd say about 220 to 230 amps. Anything above that, it will go into overcurrent protection. So that's really awesome to see. A lot of my other battery reviews, a lot of batteries, overcurrent protection just doesn't seem to work. I don't know if that's by design or what the deal is with that, but this one 100% is working. So love to see that. There it went. It just kicked back on. All right, now we're gonna move on to the teardown of this battery as well as assess the build quality of this battery. Now we're gonna very carefully crack this thing open. Do not disassemble. We're definitely gonna disassemble. Oh, I think we got it. Oh yeah. All right, first look inside. It looks like another giant battery inside of a case. But we're gonna get all this heat shrink wrapping off and check it out. Here's our terminals. Looks like they put some epoxy or something to keep those secure. Looks like a 2 or 4 gauge, very thick wire. Negative terminal looks nice and secure. There's your Bluetooth chip to give you Bluetooth, and they put a big snot glob on there to keep that down and secure. But there's not much more we can see like this. A lot of foam with glue to help secure that in place, as well as on the back here and right here. So I'm gonna try to wrestle the main package out of the case so we can take a closer look. Being really careful because I don't want to damage this. This is a very nice and expensive battery. All right, I ended up just cutting the heat shrink right here. That way the heat shrink stays stuck to the bottom of the battery and we can wiggle the battery out of here. All right, so there's what it looks like inside this big old case. Giant layer of sticky foam on the bottom, probably about 2 millimeters thick. And that is adhered to this giant piece of heat shrink. They essentially build this whole pack and then throw it in some heat shrink. I assume they build it like this because this is supposed to be a self-heated battery, and maybe this has to be more self-contained, because on all 4 edges you have this like fiberglass boarding stuff. You kind of see a lot of those when you do a bunch of battery teardowns, so it's pretty common to see that material. The BMS looks like it's right here, so what I'm gonna do is try to get this side off and get the top off so we can maybe look at the cells. I'm gonna be very careful so I don't destroy the battery. And then we also gotta find the temp sensors so we can dip them in ice. Okay, so there's our heater pad, and you can tell because it has 2 electrodes here and here, as you can see. So this is definitely self-heated. There's our BMS kind of shoved in there. Looks pretty good. Vatrer is the only brand I've seen so far that actually has bolted terminals. Every other battery we've ever viewed uses laser welds, but these actually have bolts. Personally, I kind of like that because there's always a possibility that if this battery goes bad or a cell goes bad, you can go in there and replace the cell or upgrade the cells and reuse all the components, the BMS, everything can be reused just because you can unbolt it. And if you guys remember, the other Vatrer 100 amp hour battery reviewed was the exact same way. Everything right here is very nicely loomed. So we have another heater pad here. There's the heater pad in the front you guys just saw. And these are gonna get their power from the BMS. So there's one set of leads here for the negative side of the heater pads, and then the positive side actually attaches right here with these wires right there. Underneath this big wad of goop, that's gonna be our temp sensor. So we're gonna have to remove those in order to test the heating function and all that. So we are gonna pull those off. All right, let's get a closer look at the cells. I'm gonna get a light so we can see better. All right guys, check it out. So I went ahead and read the QR code on those cells, and they are EVE power cells, 304 amp hour LF304s, just like we thought. And they were made at the end of 2024, so they are not very old either. So that's actually really awesome to see. These are really good cells. They're actual name brand cells. They haven't been rebranded or the QR codes hasn't been scrubbed off. So that's really awesome. Really good cells. Love to see that in such a big and expensive battery. Between all the cells, there's some thick, maybe 3 or 4 millimeter thick foam. The cells do not appear to be bulged. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off so we can get a closer look at the BMS. All right, here's kind of a close-up of the BMS. We have nice bolted terminals, very solidly attached. No soldering there. That's good to see. We have 2 temperature sensors right here. This is gonna be our balance harness. This is gonna be the Bluetooth module. Like I was showing before, this is the negative connection to the heater circuit, so this is going to control all of that. Nice beefy heatsink on the other side. This thing is very nicely attached to the battery, so it's not going nowhere. It's actually glued all along the top right here. I'm actually very happy that the high current protection works because the BMS is kind of sort of boxed in. I think it would be hard to get adequate cooling in this thing if it was very, very severely overloaded. So it is kind of a good thing that the overcurrent protection works. I think it'll help keep this thing nice and cool. As far as branding on the BMS, I'm not really seeing nothing. Peel this foam back. There's the model of the BMS for those who are curious. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comments what this is, who makes it. As far as what's actually holding the cells and compressing them, it is just using the reinforced tape, which does seem to work okay. I personally prefer metal enclosures. However, this seems to be adequate and the cells do feel nice and secure together and there is no bulging. So that's totally fine as far as how it's attached. I went ahead and connected a battery charger to this thing. Now we're gonna go ahead and freeze the temperature sensors and see if the low temp cutoff works. And we're also gonna see if the heaters turn on. I'm gonna get a thermal camera so we can check that. So if the charging does stop, that light right there will turn green. We're also gonna open the app and see if the temperature is being displayed. Yes, it is. We're already down to 36 degrees. So kind of look at the temperatures now. I believe T1, T2, and T3 are all separate sensors. T1's more than likely the BMS itself. T2 and T3 are actually gonna be the sensors right here. All right, I got the sensors pretty cold. I got them down to negative 0.1 degrees Celsius. And it is triggering low temp charging, but then it immediately goes back to normal. So I think I gotta get it a little bit colder. All right, so I'm getting it to bounce between low temp charging protection and low temp charging off. And the sensors are both reading below freezing. However, the T1 sensor, which I believe is actually in the BMS itself, is still reading normal. So what I think is going on is either I'm not getting the temp sensors cold enough, or because there's a conflict between the BMS temp and the temp sensors, it's not gonna let the low temp charging activate fully because the charger is still charging. But I do see on the BMS that it's trying to activate. So I do believe it actually does work. If you guys in the comments have used this battery, can y'all confirm that with your own testing? Thoughts on the Vatrer battery? It did really good and it did pass all the tests we did. I did have trouble with the low temp cutoff, but that's really on me. However, I do believe it would work if you needed it to work just because the app was indicating that it was trying to work. Maybe because of the difference in the temperatures between the BMS and the sensors, not really sure about that. But other than that, I was really happy to see it had EV cells, full capacity, did really good on the discharge test, and the high current disconnect worked. That's awesome to see, because for some reason a lot of these batteries don't seem to have that working. So Vatrer did a good job. I was also very happy with the last Vatrer battery I reviewed. In fact, I've actually been using it in my golf cart here for about 2 weeks now, and it's been flawless. But I was also very happy with this battery, and if you go check that video out, this battery also did really good. This thing is up there in price. However, you gotta remember you are getting a ton of features with it. I love the fact that the Bluetooth app worked really well. That was probably one of the best Bluetooth apps I've used with a battery so far, and it gives you a lot of information, and you didn't need to create a dumb account to be able to use it. So overall, I'm really happy with this battery. I'm really excited to have it in my battery collection, and I do look forward to doing more testing with it in the future. So let me know what you guys think about this battery. Are you guys using Vatrer batteries in your setups? I also know they have 48 volt batteries, so maybe in the future we're gonna get our hands on a 48 volt battery to test one of the server rack batteries, or I know they also have golf cart batteries, so that'd be kind of cool to maybe look into one of those as well. It is good to see that you get a ton of features for your money with this battery. It wasn't cheap. At the time of making this video, these are going for about 600 bucks. I will put links in the description if y'all wanna go check it out for yourselves. Anyways, guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Leave all y'all's thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.